So this is where I always get unsure about this deck, is I sometimes want to keep a 2-lander because you can operate most of your spells on 2 lands, but getting stuck on 2 lands means you just lose. So we don't have a scry land either, though we have all 3 sources that we need. We're in the play. I think I can afford to keep this. If we don't hit a land on our draws, we can just behold the multiverse on turn 2 here, depending what we're playing against. Probably like Nigh Adventures, it seems to be pretty common. Hey AJ, how you doing today, bud? How was your weekend? Equipped warriors you control have double strike. Let's Valky here. See what they have for creatures. Let's take Bergie. It blocks everything else that they have. They don't have any red mana. Let's pass turn. We'll take a card in exchange for that. It seems fine. We'll pass here. That's fine. Take another 2. We're going to bounce this. We're going to draw 2. We don't want lands. The opponent's not really doing anything right now, so we'll just cast that. Too short, huh? Too short of a weekend. Aren't the weekends always too short? Isn't that how it goes? This opponent's really not finding the red mana here. There you go. Okay. So opponent figured it out. They figured out that they lost, but they got stuck on red, not drawing a red land for a long period of time, which is unfortunate. We're going to want the extinction events against these guys. Yeah, I mean, they're completely creature-based, so all the removal is going to be premium. Brazen Borrow still seems fine. Valky seems okay. I think Shark Typhoon's okay. I think our counterspell is probably too slow to hit most of their stuff. You know, they do play Nahiri. I'm assuming that they play Showdown of the Scalds or Battle of the Scalds, whatever the red-white one is, that exiles 4 cards for you. I'm assuming that that's what they're playing. So I think maybe I'll cut 1 and 1 here, because these are good. He said Shark Typhoon's fine if we get out ahead of them. I mean, we're on the draw, so maybe it's a little worse. Try something like this. Nice. Yeah, do the Mass Effect edition. As long as, like I said, as long as the graphics are like worth it, I'm definitely on board. I'm 100% on board with that. The opponent chose for me to play first. It's very interesting. It's very interesting, especially being an aggressive deck. Very interesting. Not something I typically do. And we didn't hit the land. We need lands, folks. Alright, so we're going to take a little damage here. By a little, I mean 10. You know, no big deal. Just 10 damage. Alright, come on, land. What's the best course of action here? It doesn't have menace, right? Right. We can play dragon, swing in for 4, but we're pretty close to dead. So we can either extinction event for even to get rid of the core Blade Master, or we play the Goldspan Dragon. Or we can cycle the Shark. I think we're going to cycle for a Shark. We'll see what the opponent's going to do here. Hopefully we draw a removal spell. Didn't. So give us a blocker if we need one. There's the removal spell we were looking for. That's what we needed. Excellent. Okay, so now we've established our board. We have a blocker. Alright, so I'll definitely trade the Bone Crusher Giant here. Unless, yeah, they drew something. Play this, we have 7. I'm going to play Valky as another blocker. Alright, so they have another equipment in their hand. And then that way we can just block with Valky, we can make a 5 shark. Because now we know the opponent's not going to be able to kill us, right? So that's the important thing. Hey Cozy, how you doing? 2 Clipper Rings. The only reason I didn't play the other Goldspan Dragon there, I wasn't sure what the opponent had in their hand, and if I would have chose to attack there, they could have run me over. I could have not attacked, but I figured Valky's either going to get a creature out of their hand, or it's going to act as a blocker for us. And then it also allows me to Shark Typhoon and win the game either way. So it just allows me to be a little bit more reactive to what the opponent's trying to do. And now I know that, like, they can't win. Well, I shouldn't say they can't win, but... by doing this, it probably is equally as correct to play the Goldspan. Oh, nice. All right, so now we're going to get a huge shark. Yeah, but like now we're going to get a huge shark, which is going to be great. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 mana, so we can do this for 7. So we did it. Sorry I didn't respond right away. Yeah, I guess so. I guess pacifism sees play. This is the first time I've run into this exact matchup, so I'm not really sure. I probably wouldn't play pacifism, but if it's like the white's only option, then it's like their only option. I haven't played standard in so long. I'm not sure what all the options are, but usually pacifism's not something that you see. It's just generally not that great of an answer in a constructed format because there's so many ways to deal with it. Not that one. No. It's not great. We are on the draw, so the opponent, we do have an opportunity to draw. Obviously, like a red land, we have a black land. We got a Brazen Borrower, so we have some things. I think that this is a keepable hand. All right, so probably playing, I guess, I don't know, Saltire Pile. Yeah, that seems a little bit better. Yeah. Oh yeah, Glass Casket. Yeah, Glass Casket is the significantly better answer. So opponents can be able to resolve a 3-drop here if they have one, but I would rather get a single Saw It Coming into the exile if possible. If it gets like hexproof, that's gonna suck. Okay. Okay, Replicating Ring is fine. I think what we're going to do here is just foretell another Saw It Coming. We'll pass the turn. If the opponent plays anything significant, we can always counter it. Otherwise, we can Bone Crusher Giant. Opponent's on 6 mana this turn because of Replicating Ring. We can't let them resolve a big ol' 6/5. That's not going to be good for us. Yeah, I mean, out of those options, playing playing the deck that the opponent was playing, I would probably play Swift Response, just because it's an instant. So they're playing the Mutate deck here. We'll pass turn. There's still 6 turns from Replicating Ring going off. We have a Saw It Coming to deal with whatever they might play. Probably like the Giant here. The Giant that there's not a lot we can do about once it's resolved, unless we draw into it. Question is, do we want to counter this or do we want to let it go? I think we let it go. I think that's fine. Of course it gets hexproof. Get out of here. So our life total is not a huge threat right now. It gets hexproof in first strike. That's so funny. Excuse me. Yeah, that's exactly what we want. So we have 6 mana available to us. So that leaves us in the opportunity to cast Bone Crusher Giant. So we're not going to foretell Behold the Multiverse. We're just going to end the turn here. We'll cast Behold the Multiverse. Hopefully the opponent, I don't think they're playing counter spells in a deck like this. Excuse me. But it gives us the opportunity to cast Behold. We'll get a 4/4. And unless the Crystalline Giant gets something else insane like Death Touch or Menace, we'll be able to remove it. Oh, that sucks. I think those are both fine. No, Sharky's going down. Oh, we might as well get a couple sharks out of this. And we could play Valky next turn. They should have attacked. If they would have attacked there, they could have just killed my 4/4 shark. So, do we exile the Replicating Ring or do we just plus? I think we just exile the Replicating Ring. I don't necessarily want it, but it's not that far from going off, and we're not going to win the game before it does. So I don't want the opponent to get that off and then have infinite mana to do whatever shenaniganry that they're going to. But we also don't mind the ring. If I had one more mana up, I probably would have plussed. Just that way, it gives us a lot of options of things that we can play at 2 mana, since most of our deck operates on 2 mana. But it might be correct to plus there too. So as long as the Gem Razor Crystalline Giant doesn't get trample, which it has, like I have to block with my 4/4 shark now. Yeah, I know. Alting with with Tibalt is just GG. I got to do it once so far, and it was so fun. Oh yeah, trample dot touch. Yep, you're right. You are 100% correct. See, things that my brain just misses sometimes. So yeah, plussing would have been 100% the more correct choice. Yep, too late. I forgot the death touch symbol there. Which is bad because then we could have swung in this turn for 6 instead and put him on a much faster clock. So far, well, up until some punts right here. Yeah, sometimes. The big thing that I noticed. I haven't had too many problems with this deck, is what I was going to say. Is up until this point, with some punskis here, I haven't had that many problems with this deck. Alright, so now we're hitting just a lot of land. I'm just hitting a lot of lands. That's my bad. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, the Scoot Swarm. Opponent is going off now. We do run one extinction event, so... Okay, there's a Valky, which is great. Alright, we got a Sock coming, which we can cast. So that's huge. So we got a second chance at a Valky. Hopefully it's just not too late. Yeah, it does feel like it gets it every damn time. Now it's got lifelink too. Alright, so we hit double lands here. That feels kind of bad. When this creature mutates, exile X cards from the top of your library until exile X permanent cards, where X is the number of times this creature is mutated. Put those permanents onto the battlefield. We might as well. Oh wait, I can't mutate these things. Because these are all... Wait, why can't I mutate them? I don't know. Do I not understand mutate properly? Nope, I guess I can't. Oh yeah, that's fair. Yep. Yep, you're right. I just never used the mutate mechanic. I remember like I was playing against it one time. I was like, oh, he's going to mutate this guy. And I went to like remove him, and then they still got the one creature, and I was like, well, that feels unbalanced. So they kind of have to attack to vault here. Otherwise... Otherwise they just lose, probably. I should have done that before they got that land, I suppose. We do have an extinction event, so if we can hit extinction event and call it even, we're in a really, really good spot here. So if Valky, if we double block here, they do 1 here, 2, it puts it at 7. So that's not worth it. So we're just going to block with the borrower. So he's not taking full 4. 3 damage is fine here. Yeah, first strike trample. Yeah, I know, it's terrible. Alright, and we're just hard hitting. I should have played that first, I guess, and scried that away. So that was another misplay there. But just hitting a lot of lands here, which is unfortunate. Yeah, first strike trample is not good. Yeah. Yep. It said all we need to do is hit, like, we only have one extinction event in main. The rest of our extinction events are sideboard. So if we happen to hit it here, like, we're still okay. Because if we call even and wipe the board, we still have a 6/6 that can take Ugin down to 3. Alright, so we didn't hit an extinction event. That's unfortunate. But now the opponent wins. So we had an out. Sometimes you could just scoop to that if you wanted to, but there's no point in me scooping to it. So we want to bring in the other two extinction events. I don't think it's worth, like, to be cute, we could bring in a Mystical Dispute or two. Disdainful Stroke might be okay as well. Yeah, it's very possible. Yeah, there's a lot to this deck I'm still trying to figure out. I don't, I've only probably played like 10, 15 games with it. And Valky is like, Valky / Debolt has so many interesting lines that you can take with it. It's quite hard to grasp it and make the correct play all the time. So we don't have a lot to go against this person. Disdainful Stroke can be okay. They do play 4 drops for cheap. And even if they cast it for the mutate cost, which is less than 4, their CMC, if it's still 4 or above, we can hit. So that's an option. Weathered Runestone is a very narrow option because of the mutate card. But the idea is that we're going to deal with those problems before Runestone would be effective anyway. So I think it's fair to not bring that in. The only other questionable card here, I think, is Disdainful Stroke. Mystical Dispute is very narrow, but we could bring that in too. But I think Saw It Coming is probably just better. I think Bone Crusher Giant is fine. It doesn't hit a ton of their targets, but I do think it's fine. Maybe not fine enough, but maybe we should go down to like 1 Giant and 2 Typhoons. I think might be a fine option. Like Typhoon's medium, right? It's not 10 out of 10. We'll try it out. See how we do. And how you doing today, Frosty? Thanks for stopping in. We appreciate it. Yeah, we can keep this. We got Scry land. Alright, so we want that. I know we want lands too, but I just want to ensure that I have an extinction event. I'll probably foretell the Saw It Coming here, to be honest. Once I learn all the matchups a bit better too, that'll give me a lot of information on like when I should be foretelling my cards and when I shouldn't be foretelling my cards. So we're just going to crush this right now. That way they don't get any value off of it. I could have done it on their upkeep, I suppose, but if it gets, I swear to God, if it gets hexproof, okay. I was going to be so upset. I'd be so upset. Oh no, that's right. Oh no. Oh no, that sounds terrible. Okay, man, how many Crystalline Giants you got, man? So we're going to bounce this one, and then we'll kill this one. Before it gets a counter. There's some stuff that I used to buy. You can just like buy it at the store. You just like put it on like your tooth and it like numbs the area. That was the stuff that I used to use. All right, so we've drawn all 3 extinction events. That's like it's a real thing. I think both of these are fine. We can play our land here. I'll just jam a Bone Crusher Giant. Oh man, it's got to be so uncomfortable. Sorry to hear about that. I had an issue a long time ago. My rear tooth broke, and it was just like the most painful thing. All right, so we know opponent is playing Gem Razors. So the question is, I think we just hold Shark and just cycle a huge Shark. Well, not huge, but I mean, it's a 4/4 Shark, which I think is probably correct. We have all the extinction events in the world here. Yeah, that's very possible. All right, so we're definitely gonna cycle this for 4. All right, we got land. Let's see what we got on top. Multiverse is fine, I think. And then we'll just call, we'll call odd here. It gets rid of our giant, but yeah, this is the standard metagame challenge. So I figured one of the better ways to try to test out the deck and see what it needs is to play against some of the more premier decks, and I imagined that most people in this event would be playing some more of the competitive decks that are available. Destroy this before it gets a chance to mutate. Sounds good, gaming. Thanks for stopping in. I always appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Sure. So the opponent's going to gain 2 life here. Drawing cards for us is more important. We don't want these. Oh my god, so many lands. All the lands. We're hitting all the lands, guys. Maybe I should have taken that other Behold the Multiverse so that way we could have got past all these lands. Okay, so if I'm correct, this is the question I had about mutate. So since this card is now a copy of this card, its CMC is then 4. Is that correct? Right? Okay, I just wanted to confirm. Oh man, we're hitting every land in our deck here. Okay, and that's what I assumed. It made the most sense to me, so. I don't know if opponent was saying good game because they think that they lost, or if they were saying good game because... Alright, this doesn't have anything crazy, right? No, they can't do anything. There's the gold span dragon. Cool. Did it. Yeah, that was the only thing I was uncertain of is if that's how it works. So thank you for confirming. Oh, that's right, we lost the first game. That's interesting. I thought that we had won the first game for some reason. Yeah, I don't think a lot needs to change. I think that having the extinction events are good. Duress isn't really worth it, so maybe there's a little bit more of an optimal way to sideboard here. Yeah, I mean, I think we're fine. I think we hit we hit a ton of the lands in our deck too, and we still managed to come out there. The only problem is we're not playing any artifact or enchantment removal outside of Valky. I think we can keep this. We can play a tap land and set up our next draws. Okay, so we drew removal, which is awesome. Alright, that's good for us. They took a turn from casting something, which is good. I think Brazen Burrows are actually fine here. So opponent didn't hit their next land. We don't want that. Here we're going to jam Valky. Well, Scoot Swarm's the only thing they can play, so we'll just take that. And we can make Valky a copy of that next turn and start playing lands. Yeah, I've seen the mutate deck really pop up. I haven't been sure about it, but it doesn't seem too bad. So, opponent's stuck on mana, so we're gonna do like the nice thing that we can do. We're gonna bounce this back to the opponent's hand. It's because they're stuck on lands. I think that is the correct move to do. Because if they don't hit a land drop here, then they have to recast it, and they can't cast a 4-drop. And then we'll just Bone Crusher Giant Thera 2/2 here. Opponent had enough. Oh, interesting. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I think we did okay. I think that we made a couple misplays, but overall, I think that we did okay. Oh, and thank you for the follow, Frosty. I didn't notice that when I was playing, but I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Welcome to the community, where we mostly enjoy some nice coffee and play some Magic. Like I said, just starting to get it back into Standard. I've been playing Historic for the last like 4 or 5 seasons. I just wasn't a fan when Rogues was completely dominant. It wasn't too much fun for me. Even though you think I would have jumped on the bandwagon because I love blue-black, but there's just something about the Rogues deck that it rubbed me the wrong way. And I was like, I don't know. I also usually don't like playing the top deck. Like, I usually don't enjoy playing the best deck in the format. A lot of lands, but again, we can scry away a couple things here. We have a Valky to pick apart the opponent's hand and a Bonecrusher Giant, so... Oh, I love Historic. I do. I love the depth in the card pool. There's a lot of options. I mostly play 5-color Niv Mizzet. It's the deck that I've played the most. I got tons and tons of videos of it. I really enjoy it. I think it got a little bit better because of the new pathways, so it gives us a little bit more options, but we also want to be playing a lot of dual lands. Okay, nice. No, we don't want another tap land. Yeah, Lurrus is so nasty. It's like whenever I see Lurrus in the companion slot, I was like, oh god, I gotta deal with Lurrus. It's always a pain. Nope, we don't want another scry land. We've seen all the lands we'd like to see for right now, please. Bonecrusher's fine. So now we'll take this opportunity to see what the opponent has in their hand. Alright, so they have a Frostbite, so they're going to have to use that, but we'll just snag a dragon for now. They'll get it back. Unfortunate that they have Frostbite. So they're just playing the Is It version of this deck. So now we're in a little bit of trouble here. So we can counter the first dragon, but we definitely can't counter the second. So we have to find an answer for that hopefully in our next draw. Otherwise this is going to be pretty hard for us to deal with. Okay. So we pretty much just lose this matchup now. So just hit one too many lands this game. Yeah, I feel like if you can integrate a way for him to be into your deck, I think it's incredibly good. The card's super powerful. And with Lurrus being able to get him back on the front side is super huge. I'll be streaming most of the day. I usually stream until about 5, 6 o'clock. Probably 5 today, somewhere around there. Wait. Oh, that's right. Duh. That's an eliminate. I was like, wait, I have an eliminate in my hand. Yeah, so I'll be on till for like another like 3 or 4 hours. So we kind of have to behold the multiverse here. At least try to find something, but they're going to disdainful stroke it, so. Yep, alright, they got it. Alright, yeah, sounds great. Go say hi. Thanks for stopping in, and we'll catch you later if you make it back. Alright, so disdainful stroke and I think duresses are good. Bone Crusher Giants, maybe. The one extinction event might be useful. So since they're playing the same version that I am, except for they're not playing black, I think that they have Bone Crusher Giants, Goldspan Dragons. Extinction event is okay for those purposes, because it's just going to hit the odd category of things. I think Typhoon's good. I think Borrower is less good here. I think I'm going to cut one giant. We brought in other answers, so we'll cut one Heartless Act too. That might be fine. We'll take the play. We can't keep that. We'll keep this. I think we'll just put back the Riverglade Pathway. Put down the Temple of Epiphany. No, we'll put down the Temple of Deceit. I think Duress is fine. It allows us to play the Epiphany. I don't want the giant right now. Okay, so casting Valky on 2 won't do anything. They have a negate and a Shatter Skull Smashing. I think I care more about Behold the Multiverse. We're going to Cycle Shark for 1 here. Look for something a little bit more proactive. Don't want the land. I'll just pass turn here. That's fine. So we have a Heartless Act that we can get rid of the Bone Crusher Giant with if they cast that. So let that resolve, and we'll do this. If they want to negate this, then they can, and that's fine. Okay, that's fine. Play a tap land. Shark Typhoon is probably fine. I kind of want to cast Shark Typhoon. We could also cast Valky, but we're not going to cast Valky into a fully untapped 3 unknown card control deck. So we'll take 4 more here, because we don't want them to resolve like a Goldspan Dragon or something. Alright, we got another counter spell, which is great. We'll leave this back so we can block the shark if we need to. So we want to wait to cast Valky until we have 1 more untap land. So we could Valky plus Saw It Coming if we need to. We'll play this one as a 2-drop. That's fine. We're not going to fight over that. All we're really doing is waiting for the opponent to tap down to like 2 mana. Nice, and we hit that last land that we were looking for. So we can hold up Saw It Coming here, which is what we wanted to do. They should have, they couldn't have attacked with that, which is fantastic. So let's see what the opponent has in their hand. That's fine. So this turn, they will be able to get my Tibalt by activating their land. So we'll let that go. So I really want Behold the Multiverse to resolve. So what we're going to do here, let's grab a basic. We'll grab a blue land. We're going to Behold the Multiverse. We'll take both of those. We'll pass turn here. So we have 2 removal spells to deal with both of the Faceless Havens. And then we have Valky that we can play next turn. The opponent only has enough for 1 counter spell here, so we get out of this alive. Alright, let's just take a quick peek and see if there's anything in the opponent's hand. Alright, Mystical Dispute, it's fine. We'll just hold up counter magic here. Nice, we pulled it off. Good work, team. Good work. Oh yeah, I can't believe I didn't bring in Mystical Dispute. That was out of me. I should bring in Mystical Disputes. Ba, ba, ba. I think since we're bringing in so many other counter spells, we can cut that out and then just leave up 1 more Heartless Act. Because I think we have answers for everything in their deck besides their Faceless Haven, so we have to have like Eliminates and Heartless Act in order to take care of them. So this is fine. It's not great, but again, we're on the draw, so we get an extra card. We can also Temple here. We don't want another Bone Crusher Giant. think we want to get this down. We'll do this. So interesting that they're not choosing to cast the giant there. Yeah, that's fine. That seems fine to me. So they deny us information, but we still get a card, you know, so that's, for 1 mana, we took the advantage there. They might have another Mystical Dispute. They do not. I don't think we want that land. Goldspan Dragon's quite good. Put this down as a red land. We're going to play Valky. We don't have to here, but I want to play Valky. Alright, so they don't have lands here. We might as well just take this, because otherwise they can just bounce. They can just bounce it anyway. And unless they top deck exactly Goldspan Dragon, they can't. Or not Goldspan Dragon, unless they topped exactly like a Bone Crusher Giant or Frostbite, they can't remove it, which is good. Okay, so we will take care of that. And then we have Disdainful Stroke up to counter their dragon if they hit a land. So not too bad. Hey, Dazzle, thanks for the raid. How you doing today? Thank you, thank you. Get some raid hype going on. Okay, so that's game. Nice. All right. So that's 3 games. It's 3 wins for us. How is everybody's day going today? Where you guys come from? What were you playing? We got ourselves an enchanted carriage. Alright, 3 wins, not too bad. We've made our money back at least, so that's a win. Oh, nice. How's that? How's Valheim? A lot of fun. Well, that's what I like to hear. We'll take the play here. Yeah, 3 lands, some counter spells, Behold the Multiverse. We got a dragon. We'll play the Field of Ruin first, because I don't think it, yeah, it's not going to affect our overall game plan here. Yeah, thank you so much for the raid. I really, really appreciate it. We want to play this as a mountain, and then we'll foretell this. What are we playing against here? Yeah, some Gruul, okay. Play a tap land. I think that's actually fine. I think hitting our land drops right now is fine. I got another one. We'll pass turn here. The opponent's on 2 lands. No, they're on 3. We have a counter spell if they try anything ridiculous. Oh, I don't have a second blue source. What a punt. So I had to use my 2-drop, saw it coming instead of my 3-drop. That was misplay, guys. That was a misplay on my end. Okay, so opponent's gonna get in for 5 here. We'll go to 10. We have a total of 7 mana available to us, so we can cast both Behold the Multiverse and Saw It Coming this turn. We can block the Bone Crusher Giant to the Brushfire Elemental. We don't want them to cast Errata. And then we'll scry 2, draw 2. I think both of those are good. So we'll hold up Counterspell here and Bone Crusher Giant just in case. The Brushfire Elemental can't kill us, right? So here we go. We'll get a 2/2 out of this. It'll take care of the Brushfire Elemental. If they can pump it up. Alright, they can't. Nice. So we got there against them. So Extinction Vent's probably going to be good. They're most certainly playing Embercleave. So that might be a case for Disdainful Stroke, but we have Brazen Borrowers to help deal with that. We have all the Eliminates. Valky helps us get creatures out of their hand. Use their resources against them. I think Shark Typhoon is a little less good against them. I think Saw It Coming still fine. Allows us to counter their Embercleaves or their like Questing Beasts, things like that. So I think we're probably fine with something like this. I think 1 Shark Typhoon is still reasonable. Again, we can keep this. We got a scry land. We have early interaction. If the opponent doesn't really do anything immediately, we have, oh nice, and we drew a Bonecrusher Giant. I think 3 sources of interaction is fine. We'll just pass turn here. We can hold up Brazen Borrower or Bonecrusher Giant. So we'll Bone Crush this one. And either way, we're going to take 5 damage there, regardless if we waited. So that's totally fine. Hopefully we hit a land here. We didn't. They're going for the Rada, which is fine. So here we'll kill the Elemental, and then we have an answer for Rada with the Heartless Act. Hopefully we hit a land. We did not. So now we just pass. So one thing I like about this deck, I mean I like a lot of things about this deck. One of the things I like about this deck is the ability to play so much for 2 mana. So we'll take 3. Alright, well we don't want to deal with that, so we'll get rid of that. Again, we didn't hit a land. We could Valky there to try to grab a creature from their hand, but we don't have mana to really capitalize on it, and a 2/1's not going to do anything here. So we'll take 2 from. We'll take 3 more from the Rada. All right. I'm assuming the opponent has a 4-drop to play. They don't. So I'm going to take this opportunity to kill Rada. It's reasonable. All right, so we did hit another land, which is great. So normally here I would have foretold the Behold the Multiverse, but I didn't want to leave Saw It Coming down because they have nothing on the battlefield at the moment. So if we can take advantage of that, alright, we're going to let Rada resolve just because we want to be able to cast Behold the Multiverse and make sure that we're hitting our lands. Alright. Those are lands. We're going to hit them both. So they're 1 mana. They can cast both of these if they hit a red land, so we're just going to take their Questing Beast. Because we could take 3 more from Rada and go to 3, which is not great, but we can do it. Opponent's not really in a position to be double spelling here, so we can saw it coming and then cast Valky as a Planeswalker next turn. Because unless the opponent does something drastic, we just cast Embercleave on Goldspan Dragon next turn and win. Okay, that does nothing. And that does nothing. Nice. Got it. We did it, we did it, we did it. I know I could have waited till I attacked with Embercleave and all that, but the opponent was tapped down and we won the game anyway. But the correct sequence would have been to wait till I attack. What do we get? We got an Deer Crack. Okay, that's a card I can get on board with. I'm satisfied as that being my rare card. All right, so we're up to 4 wins. It's good. So we're now up 500 gold on this one. So that's good. Da-da-da. Yeah, I think Goldspan is just pretty insane. Like, there are definitely ways to answer it. You can counterspell. There's plenty of removal spells, but even trying to remove it feels really bad because you're giving your opponent the opportunity for at least probably 2 to 4 mana. 2 if they attacked with it and didn't use it, plus the additional 2 from targeting it, because you can activate them both before the spell resolves. This is a little bit of a questionable hand. I usually get punished when I keep 2 land hands, so I'm probably going to mulligan this. We can keep this. It's really close between putting back Behold and Goldspan Dragon. We're playing against Lurus, so we're probably playing against the Croxa deck. Or Rogues, I guess, are my 2 options. If we're playing against Rogues, we bring in the Ox post board and Mystical Disputes. If we're playing against the Rakdos deck. So yeah, it looks like we're playing against Rogues. Hey, good thing I put my Dragon on bottom. So I wound up drawing another one. We can keep this. It's one of the harder matchups for us. Hydrate. I will. Take this opportunity just to jam Valky down. So they're going to use Heartless Act in their main phase. Or not in their main phase, but they can use it at any point. So, but now we know they at least have a counter spell, one removal spell, and a draw on the lock. So I imagine you would Heartless Act the 2-1 rather than anything else. So they're not going to. Interesting. We need lands, so we'll keep that on top. Obviously, we're not going to attack. It does nothing. Alright, so then we'll take this opportunity to kill the Ruined Crab. Thieves Guild Enforcer is fine. Yeah, this deck gets much better, or this matchup gets a decent amount better after sideboard, when we have Mystical Disputes and the Ox. So, unfortunately, we missed our land drop. Fortunately, the opponent's only on one island, so we're able to take advantage of that when they tap down. Okay, so now they have a 2-mana counterspell available as well. Hopefully they don't hit another island. Like that's the big thing here. So we'll go for removal here. They might have it, they might not. I mean, they're either going to counter or they're not, right? If they don't counter it, that's fine. If they do, sucks. The idea here is, if they didn't hit another island, and we can somehow top deck a mountain, we can get Goldspan Dragon down on the battlefield, and then have Saw coming up. Because like we're already in a pretty bad spot. I guess we're tight on lands now, which is fine, but we're not in a great spot, I should say. Okay, so opponent drowns. Red land. Nope. So no red land off the top. We know they have a counter spell, but we're either going to make them use their counter spell right now, and hopefully we get something of value. Okay. That was the perfect opportunity for us to hit a red land, because we could have resolved Goldspan Dragon there. My removal. I forgot about the second mountain thing. I punt in there. Now they got 2 islands, so now they're good to go, because now I think they can end the story if they have it, which I'm assuming they probably do by now. Alright. So they got us here. Unfortunately, we didn't see that second mountain that we were looking for. So here, Ox of Agonis is good. Mystical Dispute's good. Duress is also good. I mean, like, all of these cards are quite good against them. I think Brazen Borrower goes down in value a little bit. I don't think it's that great against them. I think Eliminate and Heartless Axe are all good. Ox is really good. Shark Typhoon, I think Shark Typhoon is average. It allows us to cycle and get value on their turn that they can't interact with unless they have a removal spell. But casting the front side of it's probably not ever going to happen. Valky, God of Lies is pretty good. It's just generally a very good card. But the downside with it here is it's very clunky for its backside, which is very difficult to cast against rogues. So it might be right to cut some number of them. I think Extinction Event is pretty good against them too. They do have varying mana cost, which is kind of sucks, but Bone Crushers are good. Reasonably good. Maybe Bone Crushers average, because I mean they have a lot of three toughness creatures with Ruin Crab, Soaring Thought Thief, and then that other one, Thieves Guild Enforcer, and the 1/1, the 1 mana 1/1 is about the only thing that Bone Crusher can hit. And we're bringing in other answers for that stuff, so maybe we cut the Crushers, or a couple Crushers. Duress can be pretty good too, since it is a control matchup. Unfortunately, some of their, a decent amount of their power does come from creatures, but being able to pick apart their counter spells and draw cards and stuff is pretty huge. Weathered Runestone can be pretty decent, just because we can stop them from activating things with Lurrus. I do think we go down on some number of Valkies, and we'll bring in some Duresses. Saw Coming's a little slower, so we'll cut that for the third. We'll try this. We'll try this out. Take the play. I normally don't keep 2 landers, but we have a Scry land, so I feel a little bit better about keeping it. You can put that on the bottom and look for a land. So we have 3 looks at a land. Then we have that one. We have our next draw step, and then our following draw step. We'll foretell Behold the Multiverse, just so we can 2 mana draw 2 if we need to. But really hoping that we peek out a land here. Alright, we did. So that's quite good. We'll end turn here, because we can Behold the Multiverse. Do we want to do it before they get a card in the graveyard? I don't think so. I think it's fine. Okay, get the Extinction Event. We'll Behold here. I don't think we want the Ox right now. We'd rather mill the Ox. I don't think well, they're just going to mill that anyway, so we can leave that on top. going to stomp this really quick while the opponent only has 2 mana available to him before they get that next mana. And we have a Mystical Dispute to get rid of Drawn on the Lock. So our spell resolves, we maintain a giant, we get rid of their creature. Opponent's down to 4 cards, which is good. Alright, so it's probably a counterspell. I don't think that they play Behold. Maybe they do. That's fine. That's exactly the card we want them to mill. Gonna end turn here. So now they'll mill the Ox for us, which is fine. This is exactly what we want. That's why it's in here. Saw it coming or negate. Probably saw it coming. Can foretell this for 2. We'll exile everything out of our yard. Now we can start putting pressure on the opponent. We have removal spells, we have lands. They milled another Ox for us, which is just awesome. So opponent still has Counterspell Magic up. They might want to play the Ruin Crab here too to help their mill plan. Oh, they just want to draw some cards. That's fine. I think we just exile the flyer. Or do we just plus here? That's the interesting question. I think we get rid of this. We won't attack. They'll play a land and mill us, and they'll get the trigger for the Thieves Guild Enforcer. But I have no problem blocking with the Ox of Agonis. Unless they have removal spell, and then we lose our creature. They don't, so that's fine. Valky can take 1. Okay, we got ourselves a Ruined Crab. So we want to play We're going to need more red mana here. Play our own Mr. Krabs. Get rid of that guy. Now we have Soaring Thought Thief we can play. We also have the next Bone Crusher Giant. We have a couple of Behold the Multiverse. Sure, that's fine. I think we want another blue land. So unfortunately we didn't hit another Bone Crusher Giant, which would have been awesome. Thanks, Gaming. Appreciate that. We have 3 mana available to us. Put this down. We'll have 2 mana available to us. We'll just pass the turn here. Opponent has a lot to deal with here if they wanna win. Sure. I can resolve. All right, nice, we did it. We got there game 2. Comes a big old game 3. So we're going to be on the draw. Be a little bit more reactive. I still think that our sideboarding plan is pretty close to correct. It was fortunate that we were able to kind of put pressure on the opponent and stay at parity with them. That way they were forced to use a lot of their mana and were able to resolve Valky. But typically resolving Valky seems very difficult. But it gives us enough of a card advantage that I want to keep it in the deck. You're not going to play as a 2-drop too often against rogues, it seems. They just have like plenty of ways to remove it. Mystical Disputes are good. Saw it coming. I think we're pretty close. I think everything here is pretty neat and tidy. I would bring in more Extinction. Maybe I'll bring in another Extinction Event over this. Maybe. It's close between that. I like having the Extinction Events because they do flood the board with creatures. But we have so much removal and answers to like their threats that I think the value of having a Shark Typhoon and being able to cycle through a card is pretty powerful. If you get to resolve a Shark Typhoon, the game's probably over, but that's a very difficult thing to do. I had an opportunity to do it last game, but I duressed them instead. So maybe that was incorrect. Tybalt is such a powerhouse of a planeswalker that like they have to demand attention to it. You know, they have to. They have to chase it. They have to do something to get rid of it. So this is fine. We can play a tap land on 1, and then on turn 2 we can duress them. But getting those Oxes in the graveyard's absolutely fantastic. All right, and we got a removal spell. That's also good. I don't think we want another land at this time. I think it's fine to take a turn off here and foretell Behold the Multiverse. Like, we assume that they're going to play Soaring Thought Thief there anyway, but next turn we can duress them plus eliminate. So we can see what they have in their hand. If they want to counter it, they can. They're going to lose their Soaring Thought Thief. It's fine. I'm fine with an open board. Okay, so they probably just foretold saw it coming, which is a very reasonable thing to do. Here we'll just pass turn. If they want to cast something, we can Behold the Multiverse for 2. Alright, so we'll take the same opportunity to go ahead and Behold ours. We don't want these lands. It's not a bad opportunity for them to buy Loris here. Another blue land here. So we're going to 2-drop cast Valky here. Again, they could have a Drown the Lock or something, which is totally fine. Alright, they have a Soaring Thought Thief. Alright, so Cling to Dust, two Mystical Disputes, and a Drown the Lock. So we're actually just going to take this opportunity. We're going to resolve Bone Crusher Giant. That way we can start putting some pressure on the board. They can remove it with Drown in the Lock, but again, then they're spending their resources, which is what we need them to do. Give them another duress. Okay. Pass turn here. So the Mystical Disputes are holding us back, because otherwise, well, I guess we can cast Valky next turn if they tap down to 3, which they're not going to. Okay. So they're probably going to cling. Oh, no, they're just going to go for the hard draw, which is great, because that means we get to cast and resolve Valky. So Really greedy by the opponent there. So not only do we get to get in for 6, but we get to resolve our Planeswalker. Alright, so now we're in a great spot. We have a Resolve to Bolt, Bone Crusher Giant, Valky on the battlefield. We have a Goldspan Dragon in hand. Like they have to confront these answers here, otherwise they're just gonna lose. Alright, into the story again. Sure. Let's give us some more cards to play. So unfortunately we hit a couple lands there. We have 7. Just gonna take this opportunity to resolve this now. We're a pretty good spot here. Like if the opponent has like an extinction event, we're kind of screwed. They just call odd and we're kind of boned, but I'm not worried about being milled at this point. We still have 34 cards in our library. We have enough of a threat on board that the opponent really has to be concerned here. I mean, they can buy and cast Lurrus, but that doesn't do anything. Okay, now we got a Saw It Coming too. So, what we can do here, can we win this turn? I think so. So we got 6 through the air that they can't block, but they might be able to, right? So I think maybe if we just minus on the Thieves Guild Enforcer. Got it. Whew. Took down the rogues. Rogues went down. Tough matchup. Very tough matchup.